Well, good morning, everybody. It's Michelle from Michelle's Garden. I hope everybody's doing good today. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. It is Sunday here in Western North Carolina. It's about 68 degrees, 11:25. It's been raining since yesterday. It's very soggy and mushy outside. I walked up to the garden yesterday because it's been raining off and on. It hasn't been a continuous downpour, but I went up there just looking at everything, and just as I started walking back to the house, it started pouring again. So I'm in the house today, and I'm in the kitchen. Seemed like a good day to be in the kitchen and find something to cook, and so today I'm going to be doing goulash. If you have a goulash recipe, I'd like for you to share it with me in the comments. This is something we ate a lot of growing up, and I haven't cooked it an awful lot as an adult, but I have cooked it a few times, and I really like it. And I really like it when it's a rainy day outside, or when it's cooler weather, fall and winter time. It's a good meal. So let's get started on cooking this. The first thing you need to do, if you're a lady, put up your hair. And if you're a coffee drinker, get you some coffee. I'm gonna show you all the ingredients. Now, I had a recipe that I wrote down a long time ago. I think I got it off Facebook, and I want to say it was called Hungarian goulash, and I cannot find that recipe. I don't know what I did with it, and I do believe that some of the ingredients are different than what I found online today. I found two different recipes online this morning. One of them's called Easy Goulash, and one of them's called Old Fashioned Goulash. And really, the only difference between the two is that the Easy Goulash looks like it's a bigger portion, like it calls for 2 pounds of ground beef. The other one only calls for 1 pound. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using in mine today. First of all, we're going to have some Italian seasoning, and then you have your bay leaf. I've got 2 cloves of garlic here, 1 small onion. This is out of my garden that I had in the freezer. That's 1 medium-sized bell pepper. That also is out of my garden. You're going to have 1 pound of ground beef. I've already cooked my ground beef up and drained the grease off of it. I've got 1 jar or 1 can here. It's a 15-ounce can of organic tomato sauce. It calls for diced tomatoes, a can of diced tomatoes. I'm going to use tomatoes that I canned out of the garden last year. It calls for, let me turn this around. It calls for Worcestershire sauce, or as I like to call it, what's this here sauce. And it also calls for 3 cups of water, but I'm not going to use 3 cups of water. I don't have any beef broth. You can use a cup of beef broth. I'm going to use, I heated up a cup of water and put a beef bouillon cube in it. And I'm going to do that and 2 cups of water. And also, it doesn't call for, these recipes don't anyway, it just calls for the salt and pepper and your Italian seasoning, but I'm going to add a little bit of garlic salt and a little bit of onion salt. And I'm going to use something that it also does not call for, and that is my dehydrated cherry tomatoes. I like to put that in my spaghetti sauce and my soups and stews, and so I'm going to use it in this today. So I'm going to get you guys set up and throw all this in the pot, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I've got my hamburger here. I'm going to dump in my onions. Now you can dice your onions up a little bit better than this. I got mine in chunks, and I'm just going to leave it that way. And put in my diced peppers. Also, this recipe said, I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on about medium. This recipe said that when you're cooking your hamburger, you can cook your onions and peppers and your diced garlic in with the hamburger meat, but I don't want to do that. I want to cook mine, simmer it on the stove and cook it. Okay, I'm going to mince this garlic. Have you guys ever grown garlic in your garden? I think in our area here, Zone 7B in North Carolina is the time to get your garlic in the ground. I've grown it one time, and I did pretty good at it. I think garlic's pretty easy to grow. The only problem I had was storing it afterwards. I was still in the learning process of learning how to store onions and garlic, and I just didn't have any success in doing that. Okay, so my 1 can of tomato sauce, my 1 jar of tomatoes out of the garden, juice and all. Let me rinse my hand off. Feels kind of sticky after touching the garlic. Okay. Let's see, the Worcestershire sauce, that calls for 1 tablespoon. I always have a hard time opening these for some reason. That opened pretty easily. It seemed like I remember growing up when we had goulash, it had red beans in it. I'm not putting any red beans in this, but I would like to know if you made it with red beans in it, if that's how you eat it. Okay, and now I'm going to put my beef broth in here, or my bouillon cube. Okay, and the Italian seasoning, it calls for 2 tablespoons. I'll put this recipe in the description below so you guys can see it. Seems like an awful lot of Italian seasoning, don't it? Okay, and then just for my own preference, I'm going to put about 1/2 teaspoon of some onion powder and some garlic powder. Now, I do believe that you could probably make this with turkey meat, ground turkey, if you'd rather not do the beef. I've got some pepper here. It calls for salt and pepper, and I've got some pink Himalayan salt here. I'm just going to use a little bit of that. It comes out quite fast. Okay, and here comes the dehydrated cherry tomatoes. I'm just going to put a handful of those in there. And then the bay leaves. One recipe calls for 3 bay leaves, the other one calls for 2. So I am probably going to put, since mine are broken up and small, I'm going to put 3 small ones in there. Alright, you guys want to see what this looks like? One thing I forgot to show you when I was putting all those ingredients into the pot was the 2 cups of water. Don't forget the 2 cups of water. Okay, so there it all is in the pot. You also will need 2 cups of elbow macaroni. Now it says to bring this to a boil and put your macaroni in it. But I'm going to let this simmer on the stove for a little while. Let all that goodness get all cooked in together. And then I might bring it up to a boil and put the macaroni in it and cook it till the macaroni gets soft. It calls for elbow macaroni. I don't have 2 cups of elbow macaroni. I've got some elbow macaroni and some little tiny shells. I'm going to put a mixture of both in there. And I think it's going to come out really awesome. I do remember that other recipe that I can't find having, I want to say maybe a tablespoon or 2 of tomato paste. I really cannot remember. And I don't want to put it in there if I can't remember. So I'm going to cook this down, and this will probably be lunch. We're going to a birthday party in a little while. But I hope you all enjoy your day. Today is football watching day for us. We'll usually sit around, watch the football games, and just take it easy on a Sunday. But we are going to a birthday party between 2 and 5 today. We have a friend that's turned 70. And I wanted to put this video up today because I'm going to be working a bunch of hours at my part-time job next week. They offered me some extra time, so I'm going to go in and do that. So I thought I'd put up a video today since I'll be working a lot next week. And I really enjoy you guys being with me. Hit the like button if you can remember to do that. It really helps my videos out. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you guys next time at Michelle's Garden.